It's interesting to examine the common perception of Darth Maul. When you picture him, you likely see the horns, the tattoos, and the iconic double-bladed lightsaber, the embodiment of a fearsome Sith Lord. But what if I told you that this image is a phantom, that behind the silent fury lies a story of profound loss, obsession, and sorrow? The truth is, the Darth Maul you think you know is a shadow, and his real story is not one of a great villain, but of a broken being, a tool that refused to be thrown away. He exploded into Star Wars history as a vision of pure, terrifying focus, leaving an indelible mark on the galaxy before he was seemingly discarded. For years, that was his legacy, a stunning design and a legendary fight scene. But that ending wasn't an ending at all. It was the brutal, agonizing beginning of one of the most compelling and tragic character arcs in the entire franchise. This is the story of what happens when a life built on hatred can only end in suffering. When Darth Maul first appeared in the Phantom Menace, he was a masterpiece of intimidation. Voiced by Peter Serafinowicz and given a ferocious athleticism by Ray Park, he was less a character and more a force of nature. He was efficient, deadly, and succeeded where others had failed. He killed a Jedi Master, Qui-Gon Jinn. Yet for all his impact, his role was brief, and his motivations were a mystery beyond serving his master. Then, in a moment of grief-fueled clarity, Obi-Wan Kenobi defeated him, cutting him in two and casting him aside. For many, he felt like a missed opportunity. But his supposed death wasn't the end. It was merely the catalyst for his true, tragic journey. Over a decade later, the Clone Wars animated series dared to answer the question of his fate. Maul had survived, but this wasn't a triumphant return. It was a horrifying testament to the power of pure, undiluted hatred. His survival was an act of agonizing will, fueled by a singular burning obsession: revenge against Obi-Wan Kenobi. When his brother, Savage Opress, found him on the junk planet of Lotho Minor, Maul was a creature of madness, his mind as shattered as his body. With crude, spider-like legs grafted to his torso, he was a broken thing, driven insane by isolation and pain. Here, the tragedy truly begins to unfold, as we see him not as a villain, but as a victim of his own rage. His mind was restored on Dathomir through the dark magic of the Night Sister leader, Mother Talzin. While canon sources confirm Talzin is his biological mother, their relationship is complex. She is the powerful matriarch who guides his rebirth. With his sanity returned and his body rebuilt, Maul was reborn not whole, but as a being defined by two all-consuming desires: revenge against Kenobi for what was done to his body, and revenge against his former master, Darth Sidious, for abandoning him. This transformed him from a one-note villain into a character forged in trauma, an independent force of chaos in the galaxy. With his mind restored, Maul set out to build his own empire, a calculated move to forge a power base outside the influence of the Jedi and Sith. He turned to the criminal underworld, uniting the Pikes and Black Sun into the Shadow Collective. His control over other syndicates, like the Hutts, was often ruthless and contested. He manipulated the Mandalorian splinter group Death Watch to conquer Mandalore, a strategic move designed not only to build his empire, but also to draw out his old nemesis, Obi-Wan Kenobi. His plan worked. In an act of profound cruelty, he murdered Duchess Satine Kryze, the woman Obi-Wan loved, to make Kenobi suffer the same kind of loss that had defined Maul's own existence. However, his rise drew the attention of Darth Sidious, who would not tolerate a rival. In a brutal confrontation, Sidious effortlessly defeated Maul and killed his brother Savage, the only real family he had left. Sidious reminded Maul of his place. He was a tool, now discarded. His empire was shattered, leaving him with nothing but his burning hatred, a desire for vengeance with no army to back it. His life became a cycle of gaining power, only to have it stripped away, leaving him more broken each time. Years later, by the time of Star Wars Rebels, Maul is a different being. We find him stranded on the ruins of a Sith temple on Malachor, clinging to the fading hope of revenge. The canon is unclear how long he was there, but he is now an old, broken man. He sees the young Jedi in training, Ezra Bridger, as a potential tool, echoing the way Sidious once used him. This highlights the tragic irony of his life. He has become a manipulator who sees others as pawns in his own quest. His ambitions have been reduced to a single obsessive thought: finding Obi-Wan Kenobi. Through a desperate ritual combining a Sith and Jedi holocron, he uncovers a clue: twin suns, pointing him to Tatooine for one final confrontation. That final duel on the sands of Tatooine is not an epic battle, but a quiet, poignant, and deeply sad culmination of his arc. It's over in 3 swift moves. Kenobi, now a guardian protecting the galaxy's future, recognizes the broken man before him and baits Maul into using the same attack that killed Qui-Gon Jinn. Kenobi anticipates the move and delivers a single fatal blow. In his final moments, Maul dies in the arms of the man he hated for so long. With his dying breath, he asks if the person Kenobi is protecting is the chosen one. Kenobi confirms it. A flicker of understanding crosses Maul's face as he says, "He will avenge us." In the end, Maul realizes his quest was misdirected. He was never a true player, but a pawn used and discarded by Sidious. His death isn't a victory for the heroes. It's a mercy, the tragic end of a life defined by pain. From a silent assassin to a broken survivor, Maul's story is a profound tragedy. He was a character forged in the fires of hatred, a tool who refused to be discarded. His existence was a relentless, self-destructive quest for meaning in a life that had been stolen from him. He clawed his way back from death, built empires, and fought across decades, yet every victory was fleeting. He is a perfect embodiment of the dark side's ultimate truth. It promises power, but leads only to suffering. His expanded story proved he was so much more than a cool design, revealing one of the most compelling and heartbreaking tales in the shadows of the Skywalker saga. But what do you think? Was Maul a victim of his circumstances, broken by a lifetime of manipulation, or was he a true villain responsible for his own choices? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy these deep dives into the hidden stories of Star Wars, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next exploration of the Star Wars universe.